Hello, it's Ali Duzette, and today is day 11 of our Eclipse portal, and today I have to issue a massive miscommunication warning. Let's talk about it. First off, it's day 11 out of the 16 days of this eclipse portal. We had a lunar eclipse on March 14th. We're building up to a solar eclipse on March 29th. Day 11, how are you feeling? Those 2 weeks in between eclipses, I mean, it can just shake up your energy field in a serious way. Um, and that's why I record these videos to help us get through it as gracefully as possible and to really take advantage of the opportunities that we have available to us at this time. Now, today, the sun is exact Mercury retrograde. They are both right here together at 4 degrees of Aries. And man, this Mercury retrograde plus Venus retrograde is a major theme of this entire eclipse portal, but it is extra, extra powerful today because the sun is lighting it right up. We may see some notable miscommunication today, so let's remember to handle it with grace. Now, Mercury retrograde, whenever Mercury retrograde is happening, it seems to be like this like magical fairy dust that just helps everybody misunderstand each other in a really big way. And here it is, it's being highlighted today. So people might say things that they don't mean or say it wrong, or you might say something wrong, or you might interpret something wrong. We just got to be on high alert today. So here are some thoughts I had on handling miscommunication with grace. So if you are misunderstood, say a little prayer for help in recovering the situation with grace. And I do this in real time. You know, if a conversation takes a strange turn, I will just go in my mind in that moment and I'll be like, Heavenly Father, help. How do I respond to this? Like, how am I supposed to handle this? How do I hold my face? How do I hold my body? How do I speak? Like, what are the words I should use? What is the body language I should use to recover this situation? You can pray that in real time and salvage weird communication. You can do it. Okay, take a breath before trying to fix things. If you're feeling misunderstood and you feel like you have to correct somebody and explain your true feeling, just take a deep breath first to let yourself prepare. Like, don't just jump in, give yourself a tiny moment to make sure that you're going to say what you need to say. It can be safe to over communicate if necessary to be sure that your message has gone through appropriately. Now, this one is something that I don't know. I have always not wanted to be awkward, you know? I'm sure sometimes I'm still awkward, but it is an important thing to me that I'm not awkward. And I originated as a very awkward person, and I read a lot of books on communication and stuff like that to teach myself how to not be so awkward. Um, and the thing about over communication is that it can be awkward, you know, when we have to like repetitively confirm that they understood what we were saying, or sometimes, you know, if I have said something and then I'm concerned that they have interpreted it incorrectly, then you have the big question of, um, you know, do you just ignore it and hope for the best? Or do you open up the can of worms all over again and say, hey, do you remember that time that I awkwardly said this? And I'm afraid that you might have interpreted it to mean that, but really what I really meant was this. That's awkward too, you know, like that causes its own weird problems. Um, so as we are trying to navigate that interesting water between communicating appropriately and like over communicating as needed, we just have to keep in touch with our own intuition and with our creator to make sure that we're doing it in the right way. These days, I am pretty willing to over communicate if I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, this person might have misinterpreted this. I need to fix it. I will just go and, you know, text them and say, hey, you know, I've been feeling weird about what I said, and I just want to be sure that this is what we're talking about. Or you know, I had a road trip recently with family members, and I have another road trip coming up in another week and with extended family. And so miscommunication happened a lot on this trip. And so now it's just, you know, trying to say, when you said that we were going to go do this, did you mean everybody? Should all of us go and do that? You know, this kind of thing. We just ask really good questions, make sure that we're communicating as clearly as possible. And if we look back and say, I don't think I was very clear, then we take steps to make it clearer. Okay. It can be safe to apologize. This is really important. It's just safe to apologize. It can be humbling for our little pride, but sometimes that's just what you've got to do. You just got to say sorry, and it's okay. We can do it. If you have to apologize to someone today, just do it. You can do it. It can also be safe to word our sentences a little bit more carefully and judiciously. Back in the day, I was not careful about that. I was kind of a wheeling and dealing with how I spoke, and it got me into a lot of trouble as like a teenager. And then I realized it's okay to take a moment and find the right word and to clarify what you mean. That is okay. It's okay to do that. Now, if other people are miscommunicating with you, these are some things that I had a little advice for that. And I'm planning to do a miscommunication session sometime very soon, so check my website for details on that. Okay, if people are miscommunicating with you, my advice is to ask for clarification before assuming things. Like, it's okay to ask more questions, ask a follow-up question. Ask more questions of them than you issue judgments. Before we're jumping to conclusions about what they mean, let's ask a few more questions first. Double check on important things like times and dates and logistics, who is supposed to do what people are supposed to do. Just double check it. Maybe put it in writing. Do the inner work to be able to forgive people who have miscommunicated with you, especially if they have miscommunicated with you in ways that have led to like long-standing situations. As I'm speaking of this, I'm thinking of like this one conversation that went desperately awry when I was probably 19, and I feel like it still like affects my life today. I'm like, oh my gosh. And now that I'm saying that, I'm like, oh, and there's this conversation that still affect me today. Oh my gosh. Can I forgive those people for miscommunicating? Can I forgive myself for miscommunicating? Can I forgive myself and those other people for misunderstanding, for not saying what we meant, or for even outright lying, can we forgive them? This is really important. If you feel offended today is a great day to try and shelve that feeling and just breathe through it and remember that the space weather is stacked against all of us today. it's extra hard right now to communicate gracefully and accurately. So we'll just keep that in mind and that will be fine. Let's go ahead and tap. I'm just going to read these one time each, but you can screenshot this and tap it through later. I don't know how I am handling all my communication with so much grace today. I only know that I am. I easily hold space for the communication of others. I instinctively know when it's time for me to clarify my meaning with others. Let's put our hand on our heart and breathe it in. That's it for today. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out allyduzetclasses.com to find out more about the sessions and stuff that are available to help us get through this stuff. We just have a few more days to go. So we can do it. We can do it. You are rocking it. And I'm excited to see you tomorrow. We are getting the job done, and I'm proud of all of us. Okay, have a good day.